Welcome back to SSA Talks. Today's update is critically important for millions of seniors, retirees, and people living on fixed incomes across the United States. January 2026 has arrived with long-awaited clarity about Social Security payments, cost of living adjustments, and renewed stimulus discussions that many people have been watching closely. There has been confusion, mixed headlines, and a lot of worry, especially for older adults who depend on these payments to cover basic needs like rent, groceries, medicine, and utilities. This message is meant to calmly and clearly explain what has been approved, what has already started, what is still being processed, and what all of this really means for you in everyday terms. As we move into January, Social Security payments are continuing on schedule, and for many recipients, those payments are now larger than they were last year. This increase is tied to the annual cost of living adjustment, commonly known as the COLA. The purpose of this adjustment is simple. When prices rise across the country, monthly benefits are adjusted upward so that purchasing power does not fall behind. Over the past year, inflation has affected food prices, housing costs, insurance premiums, and medical expenses. That is why this adjustment matters so much to seniors. For most beneficiaries, the January payment reflects the full 2.8% increase. This means that the amount you see deposited or mailed this month should be higher than what you received in December. The increase applies to retirement benefits, survivor benefits, disability benefits, and supplemental income programs connected to Social Security. While the exact dollar amount varies from person to person based on your individual benefit amount, the key point is that this adjustment is permanent. It is not a one-time bonus. It becomes part of your base benefit moving forward, meaning every future payment will reflect this higher amount. Many seniors ask whether this increase changes their payment schedule. The answer is no. Payment dates remain exactly the same as before. If you normally receive your benefit early in the month, that pattern continues. If you receive it later in the month based on your birth date or benefit category, that timing remains unchanged as well. What has changed is the amount you receive, not when you receive it. Your deposit should arrive on your regular scheduled date, just with the COLA increase now included. Alongside the regular Social Security update, January has also brought renewed attention to stimulus payments and additional relief measures. Over the past months, there has been strong public discussion about whether additional relief would be approved, especially for seniors, people with disabilities, and low-income households. Rising living costs have placed tremendous pressure on fixed incomes, and many lawmakers acknowledge that existing benefits alone are not enough for many Americans to make ends meet. The most important thing to understand about the stimulus news is that current discussions focus on targeted relief. This is not a repeat of the broad payments that went to nearly everyone during earlier emergency periods. Instead, the focus has shifted specifically to people who are most affected by inflation and rising costs. Seniors living on Social Security, people receiving disability benefits, and low-income households are at the center of these discussions. Approval does not always mean instant payment. This is where confusion often begins for many people. When a measure is approved, it means the funding has been authorized and the program structure has been agreed upon. After that, agencies must finalize eligibility rules, update their systems, and coordinate distribution. This process takes time, and it is one of the reasons why official announcements often come weeks before payments actually arrive in accounts. Patience during this processing period is important, even though waiting can be difficult when bills are due. For seniors who already receive Social Security, the distribution process is designed to be automatic. That means there is usually no form to fill out and no separate request to submit. Payments are issued using the same method already on file, whether that is direct deposit or a mailed check. This system exists to reduce stress and ensure that people who qualify are not left out simply because they missed a deadline or did not hear about a new program in time. Another concern many older adults have is whether receiving a stimulus payment will affect their regular benefits. In most cases, stimulus payments are structured so they do not count as income for Social Security purposes. This means they should not reduce your monthly benefit or disqualify you from programs tied to income thresholds. The relief is designed as supplemental support, not as earned income that would trigger benefit recalculations. However, it is always important to be cautious about scams and misinformation during periods when benefit changes and stimulus news are in the headlines. Official payments come directly through established channels, not through phone calls, text messages, or unsolicited emails. The Social Security Administration will never call you asking for personal information or requiring payment to release your benefits. If anyone contacts you claiming otherwise, it is a scam. January is also a month when many seniors review their budgets. With the new benefit amount now in place, it becomes easier to plan for the year ahead. Even a modest increase can help cover rising prescription costs or higher utility bills during winter months. For people who live alone or support a spouse on one income, these adjustments can make a real difference in monthly financial stability. One practical step seniors can take is to review their monthly budget in light of the January update. Some people choose to set aside a small portion of the increase for emergencies, while others use it to cover higher utility bills or prescription costs that have risen over the past year. Planning ahead helps turn an increase into lasting stability rather than a short-term fix that disappears before the next payment arrives. Healthcare costs remain a major issue for older adults. Medicare premiums, deductibles, and co-payments all influence how far a Social Security check can stretch. While the COLA helps offset some of these rising costs, it does not eliminate the pressure entirely. That is why additional relief measures have been discussed, particularly those aimed at offsetting medical and long-term care expenses that disproportionately affect seniors. It is also important to remember that Social Security is not just a retirement program. Many families rely on survivor benefits after the loss of a loved one. Others depend on disability benefits when illness or injury prevents them from working. The January update affects all of these groups equally. The cost of living adjustment applies across benefit categories, and the stability of these payments remains a priority. If you receive benefits after the loss of a spouse or family member, your payment follows the same adjustment rules as retirement benefits. One positive development this year is the increased attention to protecting beneficiaries from administrative errors and delays. Over the past few years, backlogs and staffing shortages created frustration for many people trying to resolve simple issues with their benefits. New funding and system upgrades are intended to reduce wait times and improve accuracy. While no system is perfect, the goal is to make access to benefits smoother and more reliable for everyone who depends on them. As news spreads about these changes, it is natural to hear different versions of the story. Some reports focus on large numbers while others emphasize political debates. What matters most is how these decisions affect you personally. If your January payment is higher than last year, that is the result of the approved COLA adjustment working as intended. If you hear about stimulus payments being approved, understand that the process includes multiple steps before money reaches accounts. Staying informed without becoming overwhelmed is important during this time. Rely on official notices, benefit statements, and direct deposits you can verify through your My Social Security account. Avoid making financial decisions based on rumors or unofficial sources. When in doubt, wait for written confirmation or a deposit you can see in your account before changing your financial plans. January marks the beginning of a new benefit year. For seniors, this is a time to reassess expenses, review insurance coverage, and make sure all personal information on file with Social Security is current. Small steps like confirming your mailing address or verifying your direct deposit details can prevent problems later in the year. Keeping your records up to date ensures that any additional payments or adjustments reach you without delay. This update is not about promises or speculation. It is about changes that are already in motion and benefits that are being delivered. Social Security payments are continuing, the COLA adjustment has been applied, and additional relief has moved from discussion toward implementation. While patience may be required as systems process payments, the direction is clear. Support is being delivered with the goal of helping seniors maintain dignity and stability. The most important message is reassurance. Your benefits are protected, your payments are continuing, and the cost of living adjustment is now part of your permanent benefit amount. By understanding how these changes work and what to expect, you can make informed decisions, reduce uncertainty, and approach the months ahead with greater confidence. This is SSA Talks. Stay informed, stay protected, and we will continue bringing you the updates that matter most to your Social Security benefits.